Good afternoon, everybody. It's Catherine Cooke here, and I'm director of the Engine and a leading business advisor. And today I thought, let's get my long-standing client, Darrell Smith, master landscaper from Landsmiths, on a Zoom call to talk about how I didn't take him kicking and screaming into the digital world. And I've also brought on my partners in crime, providers to the Engine, Monique Bradley and Pete Ward from Yourfix Communications, because without them, we wouldn't be able to implement the strategy of taking Darrell to digital. So Darrell, I'm going to start with you first. You've been doing Landsmiths since 1982. And at one point, you were, for 4 years on TV as the preferred landscape business in Auckland. You were on the Maggie's Garden show and a number of others. And so I guess you kind of know something about landscaping. And in the 4 years, I've certainly learned a lot from you, teaching the business advisor a few tricks in our own backyard. But look, what got you into landscaping? I know you've travelled around the world, but what brought you home to Auckland back in 1982 and started in the world of landscaping?
Well, Catherine, firstly, we've done, as a company, I think we did 7 years of TV stuff doing garden makeovers for various television, TV1 programs. I guess for me, I've kind of got this bit of a creative bent. I've been all over the place, as you mentioned, and I've covered all aspects of construction, so I know my way around construction really well. And for me, it was a natural progression into the backyard with a lot more stuff going on, a lot more challenges. It's the Kiwi dream, and I'm still loving it.
Absolutely. And I love, we were just talking before we came on here, and I love your whole attitude to life. On top of the world is what you said to me today, and you're feeling so good. And right now there's a lot of people out there that maybe aren't feeling so good. So what makes you start the day feeling really good? Because I know your tips, but the rest of my viewers don't. So are you
Shall
able?
I cheer up?
Yeah, only the good ones, mate.
Yeah, no, it's all good, and it's all general viewing, right? Look, for me, just a big quick summary then, right? I'll just cover it off really quickly because some people will get this and some people won't. I value lots of things in life, right? And all these things really tie back to business and being successful and feeling successful. I feel successful. I feel content. I feel on top of the world. And I start my day in my garden. Would you believe that's relaxed and purposely built to suit me and my own stuff? I have a spa pool. I typically do a meditation center. I do some exercise. I listen to the goddamn birds. I drink a coffee. You know what I mean? It's as simple as that.
I love what you're saying. Actually, like I was actually talking to Peter Monique the other day, and I said to them, the great thing I love about being at home is the bird life, and springs in the air. Although we've got definitely spring weather happening at the moment with rain, sun, rain, sun. But hey, look, I absolutely love it. And look, when I met you 4 years ago, obviously you were running your business on your own, and allowing me to come into your world, into your spectrum. That was I feel absolutely honored that you allowed me to come in and learn about you, because obviously working with people, you need to trust them, right? And then you especially.
Yeah.
So what made you go with a business advisor?
Oh, Catherine, it was a big step for me.
Yeah.
Um,
It's okay, mate. You can tell them it was still a big step.
no, no. I've climbed the threshold now, and I'm on the next level with you, okay? And I would love everybody to know it's been a really good journey. It really has. It's been a growth thing for me. You have allowed me to kind of blossom, as it were, and go forward and reach out into a whole lot of new areas that typically I would have been quite reluctant to do so.
Yeah, yeah. Look, it's been absolutely an honour for me to work with you, and obviously how you've embraced change, because when I first met you, I was coming at you with a whole bunch of things, and I could see that you needed to kind of process it. Whilst some people might go, "Gosh, you've been working with him for 4 years, how good are you?" The reality is, it shows the trust between us. And
Totally.
I don't see myself as being your business advisor. I'm your friend.
Oh, don't go too far, mate.
What's that?
Let's not take this too far.
Okay, all right. I'm going to move on actually from that comment because I don't want to leave Peter Monique sitting on the shelf. But I'm only as good as the people that I surround myself with too. And I know with Monique especially, she loves working with the people I work with, but she's also very particular about who's behind the brand and actually get out in front, because we talk about it all the time. There's plenty of landscaping businesses out there, but what separates a landscaping business from another landscaping business is who's behind the brand. So Monique, when you first met Darrell, that was the first thing that we needed to do, was not put you in front of the camera, but put Darrell in front of the camera. And he's been in front of the camera before, but this is a different in front of the camera. So talk to me about when you first met Darrell and obviously the start of that journey and helping him with his brand.
Yeah, cool. Thanks. I was just, as you were talking, I was just reflecting on that actually. And I remember the first time we rocked up to Darrell's to meet him, and you'd already, we'd had a lot of email correspondence in the lead up to meeting him for the first time. And you'd sort of, Catherine, told us about Darrell. And then we instantly we went to his place to meet him and his son, Alex, who also works in the business. And the first thing that we actually noticed was this incredible relationship and respect between him and his son. And for Pete and I, we're a values, heart-led business. And to see that respect, we both went, wow, these are really genuinely nice people. Like you had the same response, eh? We both kind of went, wow. And then we sat, and my job is obviously to talk a lot. That's what I get paid to do for a job. Whereas Pete, as he's doing right now, is the listener out of the two of us. So Pete sits there and listens to what people are saying and what they don't say. And between the two of us, we start to paint a picture of who the person in front of us actually is. Not just the wah that they tell us, but the subtext that goes on, the values that they live their life by, which is really important when you're creating an authentic brand, particularly for on camera. And also the two things that we work on is, Pete, you work on something a bit different for me. Do you want to say what you sort of look for most?
Sure, thank you. I tend to sit there and I let Monique draw out a lot of the information about who the client is and what they're trying to do and how they want to represent their brand. And what I'm looking for is the value that you already have that you haven't recognized. So to be able to encapsulate that and go, actually, this is the value you have right here, and put it in such a way that everyone can understand it, and usually in one sentence, so that people can go, that's what I want from you. That's exactly it. And of course, then, Monique, as you're saying, you then work with the value that people can give. So they're two different things we love to, there's our core kind of way we work, is those two values. So you've got the value that you have, and then the value that you can give to somebody else, because it's an exchange. So.
It is an exchange. And so for me, the first thing that we could see from Darrell was he actually genuinely cares for and trusts and respects people. And so I loved that about him. And I thought, cool, we need to make this a very strong personal brand. The business brand is great, but we need to tell the personal story. And then the more we delved into his mind and we heard about the value he has, we learned he was highly creative and had this incredible ability, which he calls mole vision, which is his ability to go underground and on top of the ground and see a space in his mind and see the potential. And those were the stories that we've started working on getting him to tell. So that's kind of been the process, and it's been lovely.
Yeah, look, I absolutely love that. It's actually knowing who is behind the brand, so that you know that they can deliver on the promise. And
absolutely. And to be honest, and I have to say, we've worked with a lot of people, and there's a lot of people we've chosen not to work with because being a trained actor, the text and the subtext don't align, and that doesn't build trust. But right here, we saw a complete package, and I thought, this is a guy that I can work with, and Pete felt very much the same.
And look, just coming back to you, Pete and I were on a sort of a presentation talking about branding and how branding and marketing go together. And if I just kind of reflect on that, secret number one was storytelling. And what you've actually been able to do is to get Darrell on camera talking about where he's come from and how much of an impact that's had on where he is today. Like Darrell, if you hadn't have travelled and been to these places, and we were talking about it the other day, you know, the excitement that comes through about when you see things, and you were one of the lucky ones recently that were able to escape the borders at the right time and head over to Raro. And whilst it was a well-needed break, you weren't switched off completely, because you were constantly looking and seeing what was out there in Rarotonga to what you could bring home. Because right now, without travelling, we're turning our backyards into our travel oases, and that's really important. So storytelling is something that I'm really passionate about too, because without storytelling, you know, I really don't have anything to draw on when I'm talking to people. So when I can draw on my own experiences, people can relate better to it. So talk to me about Raro, like take me to Raro with you right now and tell me about what you saw and what you brought home. Because
that's a lovely thing for us all to talk about right now, is it not? You know, the ability to have that holiday, you know, okay. What I typically do when I'm in those tropical places in particular, which I've done quite a few, you know, Vietnam, Malaysia, all around the Pacific, and a number of other places, I've been rather fortunate. I've always taken great note of planting themes and planting styles, because particularly here in Auckland where I work, we're so fortunate in having the ability to completely take on and absorb this subtropical planting theme, which gives us that lush, beautiful, enclosed, scented, colorful garden palette that we can work with. And that to me is like, it's like totally, we're so fortunate. We are so fortunate. So, and also, you know, another thing that I found in Raro that really invigorated me was the water. You know, we're kind of locked off from that right now. And as you guys know, I'm kind of a water baby, you know. I'd rather be out there pounding up the channel on my jet ski or sailing over the horizon on my sailboat. But so the water in the garden is another very important thing. Whether it's a great big huge swimming pool, a small hot tub, or a small water feature, it can be very soothing, very relaxing, and it can add that little bit of creativeness and artiness to our gardens that gives us, lets us show our personality.
yeah, and a sense of peace as well, you know. Obviously, you know, life is so busy, and it just puts us in the moment. And I guess it comes back to what I love about how you say you start your day with meditation, is that going into your garden and giving yourself the option to be present and hear the noises that you wouldn't normally hear, because life is just so busy.
Absolutely.
So that is absolutely essential. So look, we've talked a little bit about where you've come from. We've talked about why you do what you do. Secret number one was storytelling. Secret number two that I talked to people about was building collateral. And there's a lot of people out there saying, oh, we can do exactly what you're doing. We can do that ourselves. And look, you probably can. But the reality is unless you actually are strategic in positioning the collateral with the story, you're not going to get the outcome. So if I could just humor you all for a minute, I'm just going to share a video that Darrell just recently done. We've got a number of videos up on our YouTube channel that Darrell's done. I'm just going to play this one about, let's do the one about our Frisco living, because I really like this one. Now that was a short, succinct video. I hope you could hear it. I'm trying to be.
No.
Oh, you couldn't hear it. Oh no.
Oh, we can all share links.
Yeah,
anyway.
we can share the links.
Oh, look, I'm really sorry about that. I'm not sure why it didn't come up. It was nice and clear on mine, but I guess the video embodies basically the outdoor area and how you can make that a place where families and friends can come together. And it was short and it was succinct. But Darrell, it was you. It was your personal brand.
Yeah, thank you. And that was a good attempt, you know. And it really, in reality, did come across really well. I was like just so pleased with that. I felt comfortable with working with Pete and Monique like thoroughly. They did such a professional job, and I don't know how much it got trimmed down. Hardly at all. I think we just we just kind of nailed it and explained the values of outdoor living, how you can all be together as a family at Christmas time around your outdoor kitchen, and in that instance, or under your louver roof. So yeah, overall I was 100% very, very pleased with that whole effort. Thank you, guys.
Hey, look, that's fantastic. And look, you know, we're only as good as the people that we put around ourselves. And Peter, Monique, absolutely on point with everything that they're delivering, not just for you, Darrell, but my other client. And what I love is that you are identifying the key areas in your business of what you can do. So, you know, we've done one around the louver roofs. We've done one, we've completed one around outdoor kitchen, and one around swimming pools, spa pools and hot tubs. And I still love it when I hear people say, I'm getting a spa pool, and I go, oh, great, landscaping. And they're like, oh, no, I'm just going to drop it in here. And I'm one of those people.
Yeah.
And then it's suddenly like compliance with fencing regulations and everything else that goes with it. So I'm going to come back to you, Peter, Monique. Like, obviously, you've produced some amazing videos, not just for Darrell, but for a lot of our clients. And you really pride yourselves on getting an on-point execution. So can you maybe, for the viewers, talk about why building collateral is important, but why it's equally important to have a good strategy behind the building of that collateral?
Really good question. The first thing I think that I want to say is really well done, Darrell. You were fantastic. And let me just highlight, first of all, the process that we went through to do that. So we sit and we listen to everybody. And then my job is, as they talk, start to script. And my process is quite unique because I'm a trained actor. So my job is actually to hop in the skin of my client, which sounds a little creepy, but play them as a character and write a narrative in their words that's going to best portray them so the content sounds authentic. And I know this is a really out of the box approach, but that's what I'm trying to do. So I create scripting, and then we give that scripting to the client and to you, Catherine, to sign off to make sure everybody's happy with it. Then we go into the process of filming that and delivering it. And I have to say, I want to jump in before we talk strategy, but I was just talking to lovely Charles from Colonial Hot Tubs the other day, who said he'd watched Darrell's videos, and he said, really great job with the videos. Darrell comes across really authentic. That's a key word I'm looking for. So shout out to you, Charles, if you're watching this. Your feedback was greatly appreciated. Now, strategy is Pete's domain. I'm a tactician in our business, so Pete will set the destination and then I'll pick up the ball and kind of run with it. So Pete, do you want to talk a little bit around the strategies around why we do what we do and help the clients?
Yes, I love it. Actually, it's really, really something I enjoy. So I just want to touch on the messaging and the storytelling, and specifically for that particular ad as an example of a strategy, is that we were using a very short ad to as a call to action to grab attention. So there was no long drawn out anything. It's right to the point, and you'll note that the logo is up first, so everybody can see what the business is straight away, and then straight into it. Darrell introduces himself, and so you know who you're dealing with. So you've got a personification of the brand already, because if we use that in a YouTube skippable pre-roll, for example, then even in the first 6 seconds where you can't skip it, you've already seen the brand and you've seen Darrell. And so now you know who you're dealing with. So you've seen the face of the brand. So that's kind of the strategy behind that particular one. So we did 3 of them, very, very similar styles. We did them short enough so that maybe people will watch over half, 50%, which is because then if it's on Facebook, the rest of the strategy is that then we can retarget marketing collateral to them again based on 50% of a video view. And anyone who's watched 50% of a video is quite interested in your brand, especially if you started talking about what you're doing. So they are thinking about a spa pool in their backyard. They watch this video from Darrell. They've watched more than 50%. You can then serve up advertising for get a spa pool in your backyard, and Landsmiths will put it in for you. Yeah. So that's kind of the breaking down the strategy of what we did with those ones. But strategy in general, or when we're doing it, is we literally sit there and we work out why we're doing it. What are we trying to actually achieve with this series of videos?
I draw pictures and we have arrows going everywhere and everything to look at how it's going to roll out, what are going to be the hot buttons, and how we're going to retarget stuff. Sorry to jump in there.
No, absolutely, it's fine. You're so right. So for another company, what we did is a longer version of around about a 2-minute video, and then we did 3 little 15 to 30-second ones. And that's the same thing as people watch the longer one, and then you can target them with the shorter ones. So it's kind of, I'm not saying it's easy, but it's smart. It makes sense to strategize what you're doing first before you actually commit to doing a video.
Totally.
Absolutely agree with you. And I guess the key thing for me is that targeting in on our strategic plan of where Darrell's going to be focused on driving his business. So, for example, there's no point doing a video around, let's just say, building a feature in a garden if it's not really his core focus. If his core focus is on the areas where the videos are, then that's what we're going to really be focused on. You were just going to say something before I cut in. So what were you going to say?
Oh, no, I don't even remember. But the other thing that around that is knowing your niche. So, for example, we're not a video company. We're an advertising company.
That's right.
And we create video content to use as bait to be able to build an audience, to be able to retarget those audience eyes with a special offer. So it's really understanding and embodying your niche is so important. And that, whether it's a personal brand, a business brand, or a product brand, you've got to really refine.
Absolutely. And I'm glad that you touched on the advertising aspect of it, because the huge secret that I had in my presentation to those businesses in the Retail Global Conference was distribution. It's what you do with it, but it's also working with the right people to get the right distribution. And I'm a bit lucky that, and maybe you guys are too, but I'm a bit lucky that I have a lot of my clients on my Facebook, so I can actually go in and see the stats of where they're positioned in terms of reach, in terms of engagement, and in terms of people just generally liking the page. Because right now with Facebook, and it has been for a couple of years now, they're changing all the time, not just the algorithms, but how people can interact with you and how they can't interact with you, like around privacy. So it's really important that you get even more closer. And, Darrell, I was having a nosy around your Facebook account, and, just to see your reach sitting up there around 25,000, and then your engagement at 3,500. These are the stats that are coming out, and that engagement is people sharing, talking, liking, influencers promoting. And you're not like selling a bottle of milk where you're going to see those numbers popping out, but it's working and nurturing through that sales funnel. So coming back to you guys, Peter, Monique. Oh, in fact, Darrell, before I go to Peter, Monique, let's start with you. Are you?
Can I just reply to that, please? A lot of that, Catherine, has definitely got to do with your help and your prompting me and pushing me in the right direction, and the introductions that you at the Engine and your great team have given me through Pete, Monique at Yourfix Communications to make this whole thing happen, right? So I just wanted to say I'm very grateful. Everybody's doing a great job, and you've pushed me into some uncomfortable ground at times, right? The whole Facebook thing, me, I'm more the action man again, and I'm outside doing something, but it's working. The proof's there, just as you said. So I'm really amazed and very happy.
Oh, thanks, Darrell. And you know what? I'm laughing to myself out loud and in my head, because when you said about, pushing you, and Monique says you're a creative personality, I'm still yet to get him to do some of the non-creative stuff, I can tell you. So there's still a lot of work to be done. But hey, Darrell, I love working with you, and I love your passion. And for me, I just want success for you. And also, I'm not just working just with Landsmiths and you. It's a succession strategy with your son coming through the business. and setting up a perfect platform for him to take over and building the value proposition in your business to greater heights. So
Yes.
back to Peter, Monique, that distribution. I mean, look, I've got people who've been doing SEO, Facebook, this, that, and things are just not working. And yet I come and do a TV show with you guys and suddenly we've got a 500,000 viewer audience. And we work really hard at that. So distribution, not just the storytelling, not just the building of the collateral. Talk me through distribution. It is so critical.
Would you like to go?
I'll just lead off a little bit. You've got a lot to say, but one of the things that happen when people meet us is usually the first thing they say is, "You guys are everywhere," and it's like, it's not an accident. We didn't just accidentally get everywhere.
And we have no life, and we just stay at home and we just work. So the fact that we seem to be everywhere, that means we've done something right.
All right. We just, and it is absolutely a strategic plan to make it look like we are the most busiest people in the whole of the world. And it's actually called ubiquitous marketing is the term for it. And it's essentially just putting yourself everywhere. I mean, sometimes it's the same content used across multiple channels. Sometimes it's different content across multiple channels, but it really is, distribution, it's either going to cost you time or money. And in a business, time is money. So it's going to cost you. It's going to cost you something. The return on investment, however, is just can be extreme, because nobody buys, let's do that again. Nobody walks into an empty bar. They look in the door, it's empty. They look at the restaurant next door, it's pumping. They go to the restaurant, the bar, that's pumping.
Very true.
So that's what we're really doing, is we're making the restaurant look full or the bar look full. And that's really the key to it, is that people will buy from a company that looks successful already. And the way to look successful, and I'm not saying that you're not successful, Darrell, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying you can be extremely successful and still be the world's best kept secret. So all we're doing, we've come along and we've said, Darrell, we know you're successful. We know it's in there somewhere. We're just going to capture it and put it out so the world can see it. And that's essentially what we do. So away you go.
Yeah, on the distribution front, I totally agree. And there's a lot of people who, particularly if we're developing a personal brand, there's a lot of people who just have this real failure to launch because they are scared to put themselves out there. So my job is really working with that client and getting rid of all the filters and who should I be? What should I do? Getting rid of that, because it's a lot of crap. There's a lot of therapy that goes on when I work with somebody.
Yeah, absolutely.
Camera. But the feedback that we get from that is profound. And when you get your story right, and when you feel like you're embodied in who you actually are, not who you think you should be, but who you actually are, that's when people look at you and go, wow, I like that person. I trust them. I feel something. We buy emotively. We buy intuitively. So when you can portray yourself in a way that you actually like, which actually aligns with you, again, the subtext and the text are in alignment, that's what builds trust and authenticity. Then you need to share that with wild abandon. You need to get out of your own way, because often people are stopping themselves from getting that distribution because they're scared, but they forget that they're preventing their ideal client from improving their own lives with your service. So it's really getting all that out of the way and going, how do you serve? Stop focusing on yourself and focus on your client and focus on their needs and the beauty that comes out from people on camera. And then suddenly they're sharing it with their family and friends, who are then sharing it to their wider networks. And we get this incredible organic reach. I know it's happened to us a million times, bringing people out from behind their brand as well and pushing them out. Because remember too, we are communal creatures that want to be part of community and connection and collaboration. People buy from people. They don't necessarily just buy from a brand. Mitre 10 is a great example. They don't just push their brand. They have Mitre 10 doing DIY home improvement videos.
Yeah, really cool.
They never ask for a sale. They show you how to do stuff. They're helpful, and they share it everywhere. That's really the key to the strategy.
Yeah, look, I guess just jumping in there, it really is about building your community and building your tribe. And I like how you said about getting out of your own way. And on Monday, I had organised chaos on, and we were talking about, being comfortable, being uncomfortable. And, even for me, I've been uncomfortable doing TV. Like, I know what I'm talking about. Like, put me in front of a TV camera and I just froze. And, but the more I do it, the better I become. And you've definitely, in a roundabout way, even I've been coached by the coach. So I've got Pete Ward and Monique Bradley coaching me in the background and giving me,
We knew what we were doing.
the reality checks as well. So I guess, Darrell, just for people out there right now, I want to acknowledge some of the support that you've had, not just with Pete and Monique, but, you've had the support from the Regional Business Partner Network through Auckland Unlimited, providing funding for us to be able to work with you on that strategy. And that's been helpful for you, especially in times where, the funding is limited. Not funding, cash flow is limited.
Sure.
to pivot your business. So, Auckland Unlimited has certainly helped your business to work with me. From a reflection point of view, has that been a good process for you?
Well, Catherine, look, all of you, I'm going to call you my team, right? We're part of a team, and you've all been fantastic. You've all been extremely generous with your time and your friendships, and it's all been extremely beneficial, right? And when you talk about the funding we've had and the processes that we've gone through to continue working together, and the levels that we've reached now after these years, it's really phenomenal, right? So I take my hat off to you, Catherine, and your great comrades at the engine, and it's just been, I couldn't have done it without you. Not to get to this point where it's comfortable and it's easy and it fits with my values and my belief systems, and becomes really a big part of my business. So there you go.
Oh, thanks, mate. I really appreciate that. And you know what, Darrell, I was just also sitting here reflecting on the other things that we've done. So for the viewers that are actually sitting here watching, once a quarter, and sometimes a little bit earlier than once a quarter, there's a group of us that organise to get together, and we'd like to grow that group, because really we get together and we go out just to have a day out of our business to work on ourselves. And we do a little bit of networking in that. So we have Hamish and Charlotte, who are friends of ours, and we had this bona fide supermarket carry bag that Charlotte pulled out of her handbag, and it suddenly became our microphone. But the reality is that we have fun. And so, Darrell, as I've always said to you, and it's been one thing I know has been taking you out of your comfort zone, as I've said to you, networking is so important in the business, because when you sit behind the office walls,
I get it. Yeah,
you get to meet other people, and yet now
my focus forward, Catherine, as soon as we can get out of this lockdown thing, it's one of my focuses forward, right? I want to get out there and I want to do that. I'm invigorated by it. I'm looking forward to it. I can sense the energy and the opportunities, and you've kind of led me off there again as well, right? So again, I'm grateful and I look forward to it.
So let's just kind of wrap this up, Darrell. What would be your top 3 tips for a business owner? And if you could do the tips around, obviously, working in digital for your business, Auckland Unlimited. So do a tip for, digital, Auckland Unlimited, and also a tip for having a business advisor. 3 top tips.
Oh, God, mate. To be honest, they all kind of start with you, because for me, this is where it came. Yeah, okay. One tip is answer the right phone call and open the door when it knocks, because that's where you kind of came along, right? And I think right from the word go, we kind of hit it off. And I shared, you shared very quickly my enthusiasm, and you've led me off to all these directions of the ability to fund forward. So I didn't have to, take all this out of my cash flow, which when you're moving forward, you're always trying to spend more and create more ideas, and it all costs money. So you have a limited, finite money source to chuck at it. So you've helped me in very much so with that. And I'm very grateful for the whole Ateed thing. And then, of course, we've moved into this whole digital world where, you know, I had an inkling of what could be done because I had seen all this TV stuff, and I've done a little bit of a couple of radio interviews on my own. But you guys have kind of blasted me out into the stratosphere, right? And so valuable, so enjoyable, so much fun, and I really look forward to continuing the whole thing.
Oh, thanks, mate. Really appreciate that. And Peter, Monique, obviously you've taken our networking to a whole different level in terms of creating a Facebook group and encouraging us to communicate daily and also getting us online. And that's what I love about you both, is that you're very inclusive. And you know, letting someone into your inner circle is quite important, because I always remember you saying to me, Monique, you know, you've got your own personal brand that you've got to protect as well, because let's face it, you know, you've done and still work with some big names out there like DeLonghi and, you know, and was it Cambric or Electrolyte?
Kenwood.
Kenwood. Oh, I knew it was a K word, but anyway, you've got these big players out there, and so I also feel very humbled to be in your inner circle. And as I said to you both the other day, I don't regard you as partners in crime, providers to the engine. You even sit on my board. I regard you as whānau, and you know, you're a sister and a brother from another mum. Helena and Pete, I still haven't really got into your full family circle, but anyway, your top tip to business owners who are watching this, whether it's around digital or networking, just 3 top tips from you right now. Work with us, work with us, work with us.
Yeah, I'm good. What have you got?
Can I start then?
Yeah,
I'll just start with this. Okay, so if you think about culture is defined as the way we do things around here, and so digital culture is the way we do things around here using digital. So as we adapt and adopt digital into our business culture, what we're really saying is just finding new ways that digital can actually become the way we do things around here. So whereas, you know, you might have gone to lots of networking events to get to know people in the past, now with a single video, you can reach 1 million people. So using and adopting digital in your business it must save you money, it must save you time, and it must bring returns. Otherwise, just don't do it. But my tip is to adopt digital in a way that it becomes sustainable, it sustains your business, it makes you more profitable and more efficient. So yeah, adopt digital culture. That's my one. It's 3 tips all in one. There you go. And then
I guess probably my top tip, I have a very much I'll give it a go mentality. So one of the things I've just done, I'm actually in a previous life, I'm an award-winning children's entertainer and educator. Pete and I have both been professional musicians. We've played all over New Zealand. I've worked in live television for New Zealand and Australia. I've had a huge performance career, and I was trained in theatre to always be present, to react to the energy that's thrown towards me in a scene. And that's really how I approach my entire life. What's coming at me right now? Who am I going to be in this moment? Who am I going to project? How do I respond in this moment? So I pretty much will give anything a try. And one of the first things I said to Darrell some weeks ago is, Darrell, why aren't you on Facebook? Like, that was it. Just give it a go. You've got everything to gain. And I always say that. I never say you've got nothing to lose. You've got everything to gain. I've just written a show which is going to be performed all over Australia for kids. And one of the key lines in that show is, why not give it a try? You've got everything to gain. And if I could share one tip with business owners, is to constantly ask yourself, why wouldn't I give it a go? I've got everything to gain. Be open to possibility and potential. Whether it's digital, whether it's networking, what could happen? That's sort of my modus operandi, as they say.
Oh, look, I absolutely love it. And I've got 10 words that I use, and if it is to be, it is up to me. And so you just need to, you know, just know that you got to give it a shot, you know, but work with people that coming from a walking the talk experience, there's a lot of people out there that say, oh, we've just got to just see how it goes and stick at it. But, you know, you guys have proven, not just to me, but to all the clients, the deliverables. And so if you are watching this, there is co-funding capability that you may be eligible for as a business. Darrell has been through that, and we are executing it. Yeah, come on board, join our journey, and I tell you what, we'll definitely give you the outcome. You'll have a lot of fun. There'll be a lot of hard work, but you'll have a lot of fun again. So we're here to help. And Darrell, thank you again for coming on this journey, and just being very open. And Peter, Monique, thank you for all the hard work and the effort that you continue to provide to all my clients. I'm only as good as the people I surround myself around, and I take my hat off to you.
Thank you. Right back at you. And like I always post when I talk about you, in LinkedIn and in social media, teamwork makes the dream work. So you're right. It's who you surround yourself with. So be very strategic about your team. That's another tip I would probably share.
Absolutely. And hey, I'm going to see you guys tomorrow afternoon in that group, late tomorrow afternoon, just having a check-in with all of us. And let's see if it goes longer than the hour and a half it went the previous Friday. Hey, look, if anyone's out there and you're in business and you're feeling alone, you're always welcome to join our group. Reach out, connect with us. There's a lot of fun happening out there, and you can find just to the walls of your home. So, Darrell, thank you. And
thank you. Love it.
And thanks to Alex as well, your son, who's also got his own business happening in the background.
Ooh, how was that?
Embracing all these really great strategies. So we could talk all day, us three, but I'm sure we've all got somewhere else to be. But hey, thank you for your pearls of wisdom, and thank you for sharing your experience, Darrell. Really appreciate it. Have a great afternoon, guys. Really appreciate it.
Goodbye.
Take care. See you later. Bye.